updates coming in. Another day, another tariff. Trump's tariff deadline has now shifted again. Okay, that's a breaking update coming in. It was August 1st, but now it seems to have shifted again. Now, in the latest, the announcement that has come in from the United States is that the new duties will come into effect from the 7th of August. So, White House has confirmed that the deadline has now officially expanded. It has shifted further. Tariffs take effect in 1 week, which is on the 7th of August. So, Trump has moved the goalposts yet again. There is a deadline shift that we're seeing yet again. Is this Trump's bid to negotiate? Senior consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary joins us on the broadcast with the details of what could really play out in the 1 week. Well, Srinjoy, it looked like Trump was not too happy taking to social media his usual modus operandi, taking to social media, announcing the 25% tariff, even going on to call India a dead economy. But now we're seeing a shift in the deadline. What does this mean?
Primarily, it means the fact that Donald Trump is the way he is. And that 25% was an opening gambit because he functions in that way. He threatens and then backs off a little and then comes back again. And in this case, this is exactly what has happened. He spoke about 25% and penalties, which was very punitive. It was a punishment, and it would have hurt bilateral ties. And then he said, we'll give it a week. Now, very clearly, we know that an American team will be here. And when the American team is here, the negotiations will begin in earnest. And we will arrive at a figure which is acceptable for both sides.
Okay, all right, Srinjoy, do stay with us. This announcement is coming from the White House. But we have more breaking updates now coming in. Now, White House has made a big claim. 200 nations have reached out to us. That's a claim that has been made by White House. Key partners will be prioritized. Our trade team is on 24/7 mode, going on to say there are more executive orders that are expected in the coming hours. So the White House press secretary has said that there are negotiations that are ongoing, claiming there are upwards of 200 countries around the world that have reached out to the trade and tariff team in the United States, and going on to say that the key trading partners of the United States are going to be prioritized, that these trade teams are working round the clock for these negotiations. So the U.S. has said time and again that the negotiations are going on, and Trump has gone on to say this is USA first, or the nation first policy. But now the White House press secretary saying that as many as 200 nations have reached out to the United States.
Upwards of 200 countries around the world have reached out to the trade and tariff team. Of course, as I said previously, and the president said, we're going to prioritize our key trading partners, which we have done. Like I said, of the 18, 2/3 of those we have cut these tailor-made deals with. But I do know that the trade team has been working around the clock to try to be in correspondence with as many countries as possible. But if they haven't heard from us yet, they will in the form of a letter or an executive order by midnight tonight.
My colleague Sumita from ET now joins us on the broadcast on what this could mean. Sumita, there has been a lot of suspense over what could happen next. Suddenly, then came the announcement from the U.S. President Donald Trump of the 25% tariff. But now the deadline has shifted to the 7th. What would this mean? Are negotiations still underway?
Well, Pratibha, what we're given to understand is that a trade team from the United States is expected to arrive on the 25th of August, is what sources are telling ET now, and that's when sort of negotiations will carry forward on the larger bilateral trade agreement, the first tranche of which both the teams are looking at signing by fall of this year. And meanwhile, we're also given to understand that hectic negotiations are underway between the United States and India on perhaps what could be arrived at, on what could be acceptable to both the sides. Remember, India has been very firm when it comes to sort of protecting its agri-dairy and the farm sector. It has maintained those red lines, and the fact that the United States will not be given an opportunity to cross those red lines, given the fact that these sectors, if India opens up these sectors and gives the United States unbridled access, it's going to impact these sectors. So India has been maintaining these lines within the ambit of what India is comfortable with, what India is not comfortable with. We'll have to see what kind of an arrangement will both the sides agree to, whether it's going to be a mini deal or will there be a push to this deadline. That remains to be seen.
Okay, all right. Sumita, thank you for joining us with those details. There are a few red lines that India is not willing to cross, and India has made it clear nation first, or what is beneficial for the country, is going to be the top priority. We have more breaking updates now coming in. India is sticking to the tough tariff stand. So agriculture and dairy remain non-negotiable for India, with sources indicating that India will continue the negotiations and there is not going to be any compromise on the interests of the farmers. In fact, Piyush Goyal has also said that the government has been meeting domestic stakeholders, including exporters and industry, to assess the impact of the new tariffs. He said that the government also attaches utmost importance to protecting and promoting the welfare of India's farmers, workers, entrepreneurs, exporters, micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as all sections of the industry. He, in fact, also spoke about the negotiations still continuing, saying that India will continue to remain low and continue the negotiations.
यह भी अपेक्षित है कि हम कुछ ही वर्षों में तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बन जाएंगे। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संस्थाएं और अर्थशास्त्री भारत को वैश्विक अर्थव्यवस्था में एक ब्राइट स्पॉट के रूप में देखते हैं।
Fourth largest economy in the world, fastest growing economy. This was known about India, but Trump went on to call it a dead economy. So Trump's 25% tariff on India, that's what was announced by Donald Trump, along with an unspecified penalty that he mentioned as well. But after dropping the tariff bomb, the US president displayed signs of desperation once again, labeling Indian economy dead. No points for guessing what happened next. Just like the opposition parroted Trump's ceasefire claim, Rahul Gandhi was also quick to echo the US president this time as well, saying Modi and the BJP have killed the Indian economy. But Rahul Gandhi's take on the Indian economy didn't find many backers even within his own party. In fact, the Congress MPs also trashed Trump's assessment. They asserted that Trump was living in delusion and that Indian economy was alive and kicking. And the track record says it all. India's per capita income has doubled in just 11 years. India is the fastest growing major economy for most of the past 9 years. There has been an unprecedented jump in the FDI inflow, with 112 countries investing in India. And India is now the exports of defense goods that we are seeing, it is to more than 100 nations. On the back of this performance, the government has asserted that far from being dead, India remains a bright spot in the economy. And if Rahul truly believes that India is a dead economy, why did Rahul invest 8 crore rupees in this very economy as revealed in his 2024 election affidavit? Which leads us to ask, is political compulsion above national interest for Rahul Gandhi? Watch what Rahul Gandhi said and the political slugfest that followed.
He's right. I mean, everybody knows this, except the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. Everybody knows that the Indian economy is a dead economy. I'm glad that President Trump has stated a fact.
So the opposition jumping in to parrot the US president yet again. Unfortunate, and today as well we are going to see it play out in the parliament as well. But for the moment, let's shift our